Top Sports Talk, presented to you by Top Sports News. I am your host, Caleb Jennerette. Next to me, as always, is my co-host, Isaac Deer. Isaac, how are we doing today?
Playoff football. Let me
Mm.
tell you what, the NFL is in full force. I'm loving every second of it. It has exposed my laziness this weekend. Man, last week was a busy week, and we got so much stuff to get through. We're probably gonna miss some stuff, but I apologize for that. But I'm excited to kind of get this show going. We got a lot to talk about, so I'm ready to get it off my chest. I'm ready to speak some Shawnee County prep stuff with you, man.
Yeah, 100%. So I went to some basketball games this weekend, or not this weekend. On Friday, I went to Silver Lake and Rossville, and I don't think we're going to talk about either of those teams much in our headline portion, but there were some really good games. Silver Lake girls lost in triple overtime. That was crazy. That was a crazy game. And then Rossville also lost to a good St. Mary's team. But they were so fun to watch, especially Kinsey Pirine just running around getting everything done. So yeah, I'll spoiler alert. I'll talk about one of those players that I just mentioned a little bit later. But first thing we got to get into before we start, we got to thank our sponsors, Invista Credit Union and Family Guidance Center, for continuing to sponsor Top Sports News. I also wanted to shout out the ticker, as always, as we do every week, because it is such a good tool to use. If you're at a game, just put in the score, because people are wondering. There's a lot of Shawnee County sports fans that can't always make it to the away games, and if you can go to the away games and get the scores in, it's a really good tool to use, and it's really helpful for everybody. So yeah, getting into it. Headlines. First one, Brooklyn DeLay repeats as the Gatorade Player of the Year in Kansas. She was a state championship champion in volleyball this year for Washburn Rural, and she is committed to play Division I volleyball at Kentucky next year. So congratulations to Brooklyn DeLay.
Yeah, and this Thursday she signs that national letter of intent to go to Kentucky at Washburn Rural High School, along with Emerson Cope, who's set to go to Nebraska. Your favorite Nebraska for softball. So that should be a fun little thing going on at Washburn Rural this Thursday. Go see them sign. But yeah, not a surprise. Brooklyn DeLay repeating as Gatorade Kansas Player of the Year. I think peers and coaches and players across the state agree that this is, not saying necessarily an easy pick, but it's definitely, she's an overwhelming favorite for sure.
Mhm.
Try 457 kills, 324 digs. They got 503 kill percentage, 341 hitting percentage, and 81 assists, 64 service aces, 21 blocks, a maxpreps.com first team All-American, and she finished out her Washburn Rural career with 2,090 kills. Brooklyn DeLay, one of the most dominant volleyball players this state has ever seen. I can promise you that. Just a straight up athlete. I mean, Brooklyn DeLay is just you could tell she's different. She's been different for a while. And watching her serve or anything else, I'm like, whew, that's a meteorite just passed my head. I don't know how anybody could get up to block that, but well-deserved Brooklyn DeLay. Obviously, one of the all-time greats to come out of this state, and she's leaving a huge legacy behind her, and she'll always be remembered, not just in the Washburn rural community, not just in the Shawnee County community, but Kansas all around will remember what kind of freak athlete Brooklyn DeLay was. I mean, just an incredible, incredible player. I'll definitely miss covering her, but I wish her the best of luck at Kentucky, and I can't wait to see what lies ahead for one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen.
Yeah, 100%. So also, we got some bowling talk for you guys today. The
Ooh.
Washburn Rural Bowlers sweep the season opening quad at Topeka High, and the boys won the Free State Invitational. And then moving over to the Seaman Girls Bowling, won the Hayden Quad and the Free State Invitational as well.
Yeah, rural boys captured the team championship at Topeka High at their quad by a 2,616 to 2,517 margin over Junction City. Centennial League beef right there. Give them a little nudge there, but Walker Thompson, he led the way for the boys and Geo Peoples as well. Walker Thompson finished in first with a 693 score. Geo Peoples right behind him with a 674 score. The boys also won that free state invite, as you said last week, scoring 3,484 to beat second place Seaman, 3,418. A lot of thousands there. But the rural girls won the Hayden invite. Washburn Rural Girls won the team championship by a 2,057 to 1,879 margin. Sorry, I'm trying to think. I know I have it right here, but I'm just trying. But yeah, I mean, it was a dominant performance for the girls as well. And it's crazy. I think Washburn Rural, just with every sport, now that I'm thinking about it, we just talked about Brooklyn Delay. Washburn Rural Bowling supposed set to have a big year. You know about their basketball teams and the wrestling and everything else. It's just insane. What kind of athletic department Washburn Rural has. But anyways, let's by the way, Washburn Rural's Elizabeth Poling took a first place individual performance with a 532 series as well. And then Seaman, the reigning 5A state champions, the girls won the Hayden Quad, and then a few days later won the Free State Invitational. Seaman girls swept the team and individual titles at the Hayden Quad at Gage Bowl, which is right down the street over there. You got to check that place out. It's pretty neat, especially on a Friday night. Pretty cool place to be. They won the team title 2,882 to 2,599 over Topeka West. Cheyenne Turkin won the individual title with a 607 3-game series. And then the Seaman girls team also won that Free State invite with a 3,100 to 3,026 margin over Olathe East. Katie Price took a first place finish at the Free State invite with a score of 750, and right behind Price was Claire Ireland from Washburn Rural, who finished with a 616 score. Now I think on the last one I might have said that Rural won the Hayden invite. I think I meant to say at Topeka High on that. Okay. I was just thinking that could be because I think Seaman was the one that won the Hayden invite. I know they won the Hayden invite, but I think Washburn Rural was the Topeka High Quad.
That's so Washburn Rural won the Topeka High Quad, and
yes,
then the Seaman girls won the Hayden Quad.
I definitely typed that wrong in the Google Doc. You know, it is what it is, baby. Hey, you know,
no problem.
We're human. I know it doesn't seem like we're human because we don't do this often, but hey, we do it sometimes. But shout out to Washburn Rural and Seaman picking up right where they left off last year. I'm excited to get down on Wednesday at West Ridge Lanes, check out some bowling. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, 100%. Ready to go.
Yeah.
I love bowling. Not a huge bowler, but I do have fun bowling. Cyber bowling, more specifically, when you can go down at night. Oh, that's so fun.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Yeah. Who do you think? Who do you think you want? Yeah. I want to see that pulled out by some of these bowlers that Isaac's going to go watch. Moving on to wrestling. We haven't talked a lot about wrestling recently. There's been a lot of basketball that we need to talk about. So it's good to finally get some wrestling in here. The T-High Invitational. There was a lot of county teams in attendance. The T-High boys finished third as a team. Their individual champions were Louis Morones at 113, Nick Davis at 157, and Jackson Johnson at 165. Topeka West finished in fourth as a team. Their individual champs were Michael Weatherly at 132 and Mason Vickers at 144. And then Highland Park finished in ninth. Their individual champion was Angel Vargas at 126. So a lot of Shawnee County individual champions at this tournament, representing very well. And then moving over to the girls, same tournament, Topeka High Invitational. The Seaman girls were the tourney champs. Individual champs were Taylor Heston, 115, McKenna Stuke, 120, Madison Murray, 125, Cody Best, 130. And then the Topeka High girls got second just behind them with individual champions Nevaeh Martin at 105, Marlena Zuniga at 140, Highland Park in fourth with Kimberly Rodriguez at 100, Kalisha James at 170, and then Topeka West was in fifth with Tristan Johnson at 235. So a lot of representation from those Shawnee County wrestling teams, and definitely a good tournament to be at if you're a fan of Shawnee County wrestling.
100%. I 100% agree with you. And that Topeka High invite where the Seaman girls finished in first place was absolutely loaded bracket. You think in the city, it's like Highland Park finished in fifth, and you think about Topeka West and some other school. That was just a good, solid invite from Seaman girls. Taylor Heston, McKenna Stuckey, Madison Murray, and Cody Best with first place finishes and a pretty loaded card there. And then the boys' side, I know Lewisburg took first place in the dungeon. That probably hurt the souls of Topekans everywhere, but Topeka High with the third place finish, not bad at all. We want to talk about a loaded slate there. The boys wrestling Topeka High invite was pretty loaded as well, but a lot of solid first place finishers. I think of, on the girls' side, you think of Marlena Zuniga, who is, she's 20-2 on the year, one of the best wrestlers around, and the boys' side, there's so many names out there, but yeah, the Topeka High invite was loaded, and I think for the girls and the guys' side, it was not disappointing at all, and I think that we saw a lot of good performers and some notable stuff that'll pay off here in a couple months, but pretty impressive performances all around from the girls and boys side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and talk about impressive. We're moving on now to the Rural Girls Wrestling, who absolutely dominated Spring Hill 64-12 in their duel last week. The Rural Girls won 11 total matches, including starting off with 6 straight wins. So shout out to the Washburn Rural Girls, as they were completely dominant, as they have been really all year. They also won the Newton Tournament of Champions this past weekend as well, with some really good finishes over there. So Washburn Rural Girls are doing some big things, and they're looking really, really good and almost unstoppable.
Yeah, and Spring Hill wasn't the Jaguars. They couldn't come back from this 27 plus point lead. But yeah, no, the 6A state championship favorites, domination as we kind of assume. Think about the pins. If you think about the pins, you can just go down the line. You got Ashley Schwartz, who, by the way, won her first match. So congratulations to that.
Mm-hmm.
Annie Gallegos, Addison Broxterman, Layden Clark, Alexis Fredrickson, Autumn Sanchez, Molly Spader, Maddie Blow, who took a 16-3 major decision in her match, while Delaney Hill, Sophia Ross, and Kristen Rezak won by forfeit. That is a day, Washburn Rural. Huge. That was just enormous. What a day. What a day, Washburn Rural, and they just keep on rolling. I think they have like one little speck of oops this year, and I think it was like 1 second place team score at Linwood or something like that. But other than that, man, they just kicked everybody's butt this year.
Yeah, no, they've been legit, and they always are legit, and they got a good program down there. Moving on to basketball, I should say. Shawnee Heights versus Seaman played this last week. Starting off on the girls' side, it was a low-scoring defensive slugfest where Seaman ends up taking the win over Shawnee Heights 30-27, and the boys see the Thunderbirds come away with a big-time win 65-51 over the Vikings.
Yeah, in the girls game, Seaman just had its undefeated streak, its 6-game win streak snapped and in double overtime against Baser Linwood. I think that was last Tuesday, and then on Friday they go to Shawnee Heights in a absolute defensive slugfest against the Thunderbirds, 30-27. Not much scoring there, but if you don't need scoring all the time, we like defense too. This is a defensive podcast. We like defense here, but Emery Doby, she led Shawnee Heights with 13 points, and Anna Becker had 11 in that one. And then the Shawnee Heights boys get its 5th straight win with a big win over the reigning 5A state champions Seaman. I know Q Stovall had a big game for Shawnee Heights. He had 21 points for the Thunderbirds. I know Brennan Dodge and Jarrett Sanchez both had 14 points apiece, so not a surprise there for them to get double-digit scoring. When you think about Seaman on the other side, you think about the return. I put a story out on this about a week ago or so, but the return of Aaron Davis's huge for Seaman. 26 points, which is a game high, and 14 rebounds, and he almost had a triple double. I know he had a bunch of blocks. I mean, he had if it wasn't a triple double, it was close with blocks. But 26 points and 14 rebounds. The 6'5" senior is back, and I think even with the loss, I know they just got to get some scoring going with some other guys. But Aaron Davis, obviously huge welcome back for him. But yeah, Shawnee Heights with a great win over a quality Seaman team. This Seaman team is not bad. I mean, they got some dudes. They're not a bad team by any means. They just kind of had a rough patch, but they've been hot since coming out of the winter break. So good win for the boys, and good win for the Seaman girls. But yeah, pretty interesting night over at the Bird Cage in Tecumseh.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Getting into a different basketball game, Washburn Rural versus Manhattan. Washburn Rural boys lost a close one to Manhattan, 60-58, while the girls won pretty convincingly, 48-52 or 48-32. Sorry, as they just keep on rolling and playing very well.
Yeah, the girls' game was all about senior leadership. I know, and Kyle Manthe, who's great friend, he does some work for Top Sports News here and there. He does some great work with Washburn as well. He was there, put out the story, and he mentioned that the seniors for Washburn Rural led the way, and Brooklyn DeLay was a big part of it, who was honored that night for winning Kansas Gatorade Player of the Year. Brooklyn DeLay, I think, led the way with like 16 points, and she just, I mean, dominated that game from what it seemed. Coming out of the halftime break, Brooklyn DeLay scored the first 8 points for either team and really broke the game open for Washburn Rural. And then 2 3-pointers by Mariah Lutz. And then Washburn Rural, you blink, they're up by 17. And that was pretty much the end of it for the girls' game. So Washburn Rural, big Centennial League win. I know facing Manhattan's always tough because Manhattan girls have Avery Larson over there, who's doing great work as usual, and that was a good win. But yeah, the boys' game was the epitome of a heartbreaker for the Washburn Rural faithful. They led by 7 points against Manhattan in the final 3 minutes, and before the Washburn Rural lost, it was in, like I said, in a heartbreaking way. It was by a buzzer beater to Dre DeLore for Manhattan, leading 7 points with the last 3 minutes. Manhattan comes back, wins that 60-58. Just a blow, man. That's just a kick to the gut on that one. But Manhattan boys got a good solid team as well. But yeah, the boys, that'll probably be a little difficult to rebound from. But we got the Topeka Invitational Tournament next week, and they have something to prove. I guarantee it. They're probably not too happy about the way things ended there. But Washburn Rural girls, good job. Washburn Rural boys, also good job. Even in the loss. But yeah, that's a pretty interesting night over in, is it South Topeka? I think it's South Topeka. North,
South,
East. There's Missouri. There's Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Colorado. Okay, so yeah, it's South. It's definitely South.
Okay.
North is behind me, so that's Nebraska behind me. Oklahoma is in front of me. So this is East. Oh, that's Missouri. And then there's Colorado over there. So to the team closest to Oklahoma in the city, congratulations, girls, on the win. Boys, you were close, but still good job.
Yeah, congrats to them. Hayden versus Topeka High basketball. Hayden boys pulled out a close one. Well, kind of close. 67-57 was final score. Hayden girls not so fortunate. They lost to the Lady Trojans 60-25. Lady Trojans came out to play.
Yeah, they did. If that wasn't the Kiki Smith showcase, I don't know what was. You know, she started out rough in the first quarter. I think she went 1 of 7, and then in quarters 2 and 3. She went 9 of 11, hit a bunch of threes, finished out with 25 points. Iona Leisman, the guard over there, she played lights out, sensational. She couldn't miss. The whole Topeka High girls team was just on fire. I mean, they could not miss. And Hayden was obviously overwhelmed. And Hayden's a good team. Hayden is a solid team. They were just overwhelmed by how good Topeka High was shooting the basketball. Like they could not miss at all. It was insane. And Topeka High was on a vengeance. They were on the revenge tour. They were looking to snap this brief 2-game win streak or 2-game lose streak. And I know that when I talked to the head coach afterwards, Brittany Remen for Topeka High, she said that they took those 2 losses personal, and they really focused on defense in practice, and this was a point of emphasis for them. And holding somebody to 25 points is a pretty big deal. I mean, that's a pretty, especially with a team like Hayden, who was ranked to start the year. That's a big deal. And Kiki Smith had as many points as Hayden did as a team. That just complements how well Topeka High played that night, the girls team. I think Topeka High is back on the right track, the girls team, and I think that they just flat out dominated the other night, which was good to see. But yeah, like I said, LaDacia Baird, Kiki Smith, Iona Leisman, the guards, Kimara Marshall played really well. Face Shields off the bench, Addison Carroll getting the boards down low. Just an all-around good performance for Topeka High there. And then on the boys' side, Mr. Jacob Padilla of Hayden, the guard, the facilitator of the Rock, baby. 25 points on the night. He was a game wrecker. He was getting all the attention because Joe Otting got into some foul trouble early. He had 2 fouls at the first quarter, sat the remainder of the half, sat most of the third quarter, and then played in the fourth quarter. But Jacob Padilla was getting a lot of attention and to still put up 25 points the way he did off of, I think, 4 3-pointers as well. And he shot a bunch of free throws as well, getting to the line quite a bit. But Jacob Padilla had a great performance. Hayden as a team really showed out. I think in my story, I put that 10 different Hayden players scored. It wasn't the starting 5. I mean, it was everybody. It was a group effort. Everybody was getting buckets left and right. But when Joe Otting, like I said, very, very limited time, he was still able to put up 12 points. But it was a team effort through and through. Topeka High played pretty well. Just kind of came out of the halftime. They missed some shots, but I think it was like a 30-27 fourth quarter or something like that. It was insane. There was a lot of points in the fourth quarter. For Topeka High, Mason Gomez, DeMichael Hales, Bryson Thrasher, all those guys played really, really well. But in the end, Hayden was on top there. Like I said, Jacob Padilla's 25, Joe Otting's 12. Some bench contributions from Aiden McGibney. He was good. And you just think about going down all on the line. Don't have the names off the top of my head. There's just so many. There was 10 different players that scored. So I'm just like, oh, it's a dictionary of stuff there. But Hayden, Dwayne Paul's crew, back in the winning column once again. They've been wanting this win for a while, but congratulations to them for pulling out the win.
Yeah. And then our final headline that we're going to talk about, I feel like we talk about it every week, and it's a pretty crazy thing to talk about, especially this week, because for how good they are, they keep one-upping themselves, which is scary for the rest of the teams. Highland Park is rolling on the boys and girls side. They respectfully put up 91 and 96 points. Shout out to Bo Aldridge and Amelia Ramsey for completely taking over both of those games and just rolling. They are just rolling, and they look really good right now.
I don't know about respectful. I think it's straight up disrespectful how good they're playing right now. It seems like every game the boys are near the century mark almost every single time, and they did eclipse the century mark with 107 points not too long ago. dude, these Scots, now that man, I don't even know what to say anymore. I put in our Google Doc that they're putting up NBA type numbers, and I'm not joking. Like they are putting up nearly 100 points every night. This is like NBA, like 2000, like early 2010s or so, but now they're scoring like 130, 140
Yeah.
points a game. Anyways, that doesn't matter. But Highland Park, baby, this is a high school team on very limited time, like very limited time compared to college or the NBA. And they're consistently every 2 days, 3 days, whenever they get back on the court, putting up nearly 100 points, and the one time 107. It's unbelievable what the boys are doing over there, and the girls as well. Was it 91 to
96 to 18.
96 to 18? I mean, that's a huge step forward. Highland Park struggled to get wins last year, but now Rob Brown's team was really coming alive at the end of the year last year. They take a tough loss early to Bonner Springs to open up the season, but now it's all put together for the Scots and the Lady Scots. They just kind of got to keep this thing going. But I'll talk about Will Chamberlain later. Spoiler alert. I meant Amelia Ramsey. I meant, well, we might get to that a little bit later. But insane numbers put up by everybody. I think there was like 3 or 4 Lady Scots that put up double-digit numbers. So, I mean, the Highland Park program, the pressure cooker is just, hot. You got to get to a game. You got to get to a game. It's not like buying a ticket to see the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Kansas Jayhawks or something. I mean, it's not that expensive, and you get to see legit college prospects. It's a pretty cool thing to see. So I suggest going down to Highland Park, enjoy the atmosphere, and enjoy some great basketball from both teams. I think it's an exciting time to be a Scot for sure.
Yeah. So now, getting into our favorite segment of the week, and a lot of people's favorite segment of the week. I saw a lot of people were anticipating this segment coming up this week. There was a lot of people thinking that they maybe deserve to be on the list. Maybe they made it, maybe they didn't. No spoilers over here. But Fave 5 is here. You want to start it off? You want me to start it off? Let's do it. Ready?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh. We doing 1 or 2 out of 3?
Let's do 2. Let's do 2 out of 3.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, crap. The anticipation. All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. Start it off.
By the way, this was the hardest Fave 5 list that I have picked on. This one was hard.
There were some people I left off just because it's tough.
We should have made it a Fave 25 because there were so many people that were deserving to be recognized as top 5 of the week. This was hard. I'll start out with my number 5 here. I'm going to go with Jackson Johnson, Topeka High Wrestling. He has a 16-5 record. The senior beat Adrian Burney from Highland Park, who is a legit wrestler, by a pinfall of 1 minute and 22 seconds of the championship match. But that was a great performance by Jackson Johnson. But he's at my number 5 spot for the week.
Nice. My number 5, staying in wrestling, Easton Broxterman from Washburn Rural. Traveled to the Newton Tournament of Champions, which, if you do not know, is literally one of the toughest tournaments in the state. It's not uncommon to see multiple state champions in the same bracket at this tournament from different classifications. It's insane. And Easton went up there and was close to winning the whole thing, got second, lost 3-2 in his finals match to a real stud. So Easton, congratulations. You made my list.
We're going to go to my number 4 spot. Just talked about him a second ago. Jacob Padilla from Hayden Catholic High School. 25 points in the win versus Topeka High. Was a game wrecker. Changed the game that night. Was legit beyond the perimeter and in the paint. Jacob Padilla, Yes, stud. You got my number 4 spot.
My number 4, staying on the basketball court, Kiki Smith. We also just talked about her a little bit ago. Yeah, she put up 25 points with a slow start, ended up winning that game pretty big. So congratulations, Kiki. You made my list once again. Kiki's got to be up there in the leaderboards for most fave fives of the year. So congratulations, Kiki. You're doing great things.
100%. And we're going to go to North Topeka, where the Seaman Lady Vikes bowling team resides. I'm going to pick Katie Price to be on my team. Katie Price won the individual title with a loaded free state invite with a score of 750, finished second at the Hayden Quad with a score of 579. Katie Price, you made the list. Let's go.
Congrats. Oh, I like your bowling, your little bowling form there. It's probably actually bad form. So we're probably embarrassing ourselves to these professional high school bowlers. But yeah, gotta do what you gotta do. All right, my number 3, the other Brocksterman from Washburn Rural, Addison Brocksterman. She won the Newton's Girl Tournament, and not only did she win it, her longest match lasted 1:24.
Whoa, jeez.
And that wasn't even the championship match. Her championship match lasted just over a minute. So congratulations, Addison. You made the list.
Another recurring athlete on the Fave 5, Addison Broxman there, pretty much weekly at this point. But we're going to go to number 2, Marlena Zuniga, Topeka High Girls Wrestling. 20-2 record on the year. She also had 3 great matches, 22nd pinfall, 52nd pinfall, and then a 2-minute 50-second pinfall in the championship match. But Marlena Zuniga, she's here quite often as well. But you dominated the Topeka High invite in your home turf court in the dungeon.
Oh, Matt.
You just made the list.
Congratulations. My number 2, another recurring one. I have 2 recurring ones left on my list. So you're going to get used to hearing these names because Kinsey Pirine made my list. And I mean, I didn't have a choice. Listen to the stat line. 11 points, 12 rebounds. You know how much I love a double-double, but listen to this. 11 steals. We love defense over here. 9 assists. 1 assist away from a quadruple double. The only person I've ever seen have a quadruple double is Tim Duncan. So if you're getting compared to Tim Duncan,
yeah,
you're doing something right. You're doing something right. So congratulations, Kinsey Pirine. You made the list.
And in my number 1 spot, by the way, Kinsey Pirine, great pick. Number 1 spot, we're going to Highland Park, where Amelia Ramsey plays basketball. She scored 30 points and 13 rebounds last week against Harmon, and also last week, 17 points and 21 rebounds against Sumner. Amelia Ramsey, well-deserved. I don't think anybody can argue it. You're my number 1 spot on the list. Let's go.
Congratulations. My number 1 spot, future NBA star Bo Aldridge from Highland Park, 27, 10, and 5 in their NBA scoring game where they put up 91 points, and Bo Aldridge showed out like he does every week. I got to stop putting him on the list because it's just not fair anymore. I mean, he's just going to make the list every week. Maybe we got to, I don't know. If he deserves it, he deserves it. So maybe he will just keep making the list. So congratulations, Bo. You made the list once again. We will be back next week with another episode of Top Sports Talk. As always, remember to like the video and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Hit the bell so you never miss an episode. And yeah, Isaac, got anything else before we cut it off?
Hold on. I got to post a late Be Real. Hold on. I'll tell you when.
Okay. You're seeing this live. You're seeing this live.
All right, your turn. Let's go. Yes. Perfection. I love it. It looks so good. Be real. And I'm not real because I'm posting a late reel here, but thanks for being my Be Real.
Of course, anytime. Well, anytime on Sundays. I'll be in your Be Real.
Thanks, man. What about on Wednesdays?
Well, on Wednesdays, if you can find me, I can be in your Be Real.
All right. Oh, well, you should find me because I'll be watching some bowling on Wednesday.
Oh, there you go. Hey, maybe I'll stop by. We'll see.
Thanks, man.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. We will see you guys next week.
Later.